Helldive. Chapter 13. This is the big gun level. This is the part where the fights get really, really demanding. Really, really challenging, and you have to know what you're doing. If you saw my previous no damage run of this sequence, I showed you some interesting manipulations. Because you can stunt the spawns of this fight. This fight is quite dynamic. It has two major rotations of what the pattern is that you get. And they both have commonalities and shared attributes, but they are slightly different. And it lasts quite a decent amount of time. It's a pretty good room, and there's lots of tools at your disposal. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it's quite frustrating thanks to the lurkers. And again, I've grown to have a really big hatred for lurkers because all they seem to do is get in the way of the fun. You know, I'm not going to be somebody who prescribes a fun zone to you and then tries to prescribe that prescription of every game they play afterwards to a very specific one that they played at the beginning when everybody found out who they were. Because if I did that, it would be both redundant and retarded. But I am going to say that there's something when it comes to lurkers being anti-fun that I can simply get behind. Especially when they're the enhanced version. The enhanced lurker takes an absolute pounding. The thing that frustrates me most about them is you can't really use them as a utility outside of using them to shoot people. They climb on the walls, they make the fights really dynamic, but then you can't use them effectively unless you use some kind of human shield tech. And then this fight here, I'm going to carry a battery with me, guys, because I got so annoyed at this fight that I decided to just skip it and fire a battery over here with me. So me and this battery are going home, we're going to freedom, and those assholes can suck a big fat one. Terrible fight, terrible room. You either know or you don't. I really don't like it. I did do it, by the way, guys. I've showed it to my stream. I did the room, no damage. And then after, as I was walking away, one of those little shits climbed on me and it pissed me off, so I restarted. And in the end, I decided not to do it because I fucking hate it. But it's just one of those encounters. You can't do anything fun there. It's a room that's designed by a lunatic, and those little things that jump on you, they kill all the fun. So it's not in the run. Fuck that trash. But what is in the run is this awkward puker being a bitch. And then this room, which is one of my favourite rooms in the game. So this is awesome. Pick up the capsule, freeze these guys, punch that guy, then immediately exploder spawns, take his arm, grab it, kill everybody that's over there, be careful of the puker that lands bang next to you, take his leg, go back to where we just were, there's a slasher just behind me. If you get lucky just then, when he fires at you, sometimes he'll kill that guy for you. And there's a moment coming up here where there's a necromorph playing dead, and I don't realise he's playing dead. And it adds an extra level of tension to this fight. I think it's this guy. So do you see him lay down? He lays down as I'm fighting the enhanced necromorph, and I don't notice him. So there's that guy over there, he comes close to me. I grab him, I shoot him, I'm like, okay, end of fight. And then he gets up and I don't notice him because the puker fires at me, and then I saw him because I heard him. And then I take his leg and I kill that guy. How cool was that? I thought that was the most fun, one of the most fun rooms I managed to capture. And the reason that that worked like that is because I was playing while watching a TV show and I couldn't hear the game very well. If I'd have heard the game then, I think I would have noticed a lot quicker. But instead we got a wonderful tense moment. And this here is just a way to skip the stalkers because this fight's terrible. And then we have the laser room, which in my first no damage run, I had a lot of difficulty in this room. And then in this, I decided to test this and it works. I don't know why I never thought to do this. But it turns out the laser kills absolutely everything for you, so why would you fight it? And it also looks really badass too, as you just dodge all the explosive babies while the lasers are chasing you. And it turns a fight that can be really difficult if you segment it like I used to do into a very easy corridor shooter, basically. That's the end of the enhanced guy, and all we have to do now is go upstairs. But I was not looking forward to that fight. And speaking of fights not to look forward to, this is the worst fight in the game. So usually, I would tell you to skip this fight entirely, because there's no reason to do it. But when I started this project, I had this room in mind. I wanted to clear this room. What I didn't realise is all three rooms are on the same checkpoint. It seems like anyway, unless I got very unlucky. And I got hit after I cleared this room, and clearing this room is really hard. And it's hard because the spawns never seem to stop, and there's a lot of really big dudes in here. It's a lot of enemies that are problematic, it's a lot of enhanced slashers, and any one enhanced slasher that runs at you like that can just go through what you're doing and shut you down if you get unlucky. So you have to be very efficient here, and There's a lot of things happening between pukers, exploders, just average slashers. Like, it's not going to look like too much this fight, guys, but it took me a handful of attempts to get. And at this point, I was warmed up, I was playing well. Like, I was bringing the pain. And this room was still a pain in the ass. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a transition, guys, because when I got hit and it reset the checkpoint, I skipped it all. And the only thing you really need to do is to guarantee that you get the exploder's arm for the bottom floor. If you do that, you've won. And if you want to do something impressive in this game, do this from start to finish on one checkpoint. Doing all 3 of these floors on one run is probably about the most interesting thing you can do as far as pushing a fight to its limit. And don't get me wrong, this game is challenging and doing anything cool with the game is hard, but that room in particular, because of all the drop-ins and because of all the dynamic spawning, it's really difficult. Like, just then, I could have easily got hit just then. So be very careful. But I'm going to run past this room. And then on this corridor, you hear the exploder just then. When you hit this corridor, this guy's going to come near you and he's going to spawn behind you because they really want him on you. So as you hit down here, he's going to be behind here. There he is. And I'm just going to grab his little sack. Watch out for the level 1 dudes behind him. And then just cease and desist. And then if you carry this into this room, you get to do the biggest humiliation in Dead Space. And I'm going to leave it for you guys to watch. So thank you for watching, guys. The Helldive is almost complete.